Hello, everyone, and welcome to our July 2019 CEO report. My name is Krista. I am a designer and I guess, the design brain behind Heart-Centered Service. And this is my co-host, Fran.
Hi, I'm Fran. I guess I'm the more sorry. Oh, that's Krista's voice. I guess I'm the more strategic side of things. I don't know. We're the tag team behind Heart-Centered Service and the two people behind it. And this is our second ever CEO report. We did one on all of the June numbers on July 1st, and now it is August 1st. So we're going to sit down and we're going to go over the quantitative and qualitative data for our podcast over the month of July. And then we're just going to discuss how the month went and what we're going to be doing differently this month. And we want to do it live on this page. And we also post this on our podcast because we want to be transparent in our journey of growing this podcast, because we're growing it from the ground up. And hopefully by doing this, we can give you some ideas of how you can be running the numbers in your own business and setting up monthly regular check-ins with yourself, because you should always be doing this.
Yes, exactly. That's the whole idea behind these CEO reports, is for you to get into this imaginative, analytical CEO brain where you're making informed decisions for your business. So you're not just doing one thing because you feel like it, but you're looking at the data and you're looking about the numbers and you're assessing how you feel about everything and you're moving forward that way. So if you're listening on the podcast and you want to tune in live and you want to interact with us and ask us questions, we're doing this on the first weekday of every month. So just join us at heartcenteredservice.co/community.
Yeah. So I guess without further ado, let me just run down some of our basic numbers. And actually, I got pretty excited because over the month of July, it didn't look like the podcast was really growing that much. But once I actually plugged in all of the numbers, I noticed that even though it looked small, we were actually growing exponentially. So let me just dive right into this. So the first number is total downloads. So this is the total number of people who downloaded an episode of our podcast on any platform. At the beginning of the month, we had 116 downloads. We now have 288. So that means over the month of July, we got 172 new downloads, which is a 60% growth. Our Instagram following, beginning of the month, was 66 followers. We gained 13 new followers, which is a 16% growth, and that is 79 new Instagram followers. Our email list is slowly but surely growing. We went from 11 to 12 email subscribers. It's an 8% growth. So and our website page views jumped from 42 page views at the beginning of the month to 72, which is a 42% growth, almost a 50% growth. And that's a change of 30 new page views. We, at the beginning of the month, had an audience spread over 12 different countries. We now have 15 different countries. So we added 3 countries to our listener base. And our estimated audience size, because on podcasts, you don't get to know the exact size, but the estimated audience size grew by 20% from 19 to 24 listeners. So overall, I'm pretty excited about these numbers because they all went up. It's not even not a single one of them stayed still or went down. And that, I think, is pretty cool because, again, we started from zero. And even though the growth looks small, we've still got our audience went up by 20%, and our smallest growth was the email list, which was still an 8% growth. So
we still got 1 subscriber.
Yeah, we still got a subscriber. And we'll talk about this later, but we have some ideas to work on our email list a little bit more. Totally. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy about these numbers. What are your thoughts, Krista?
So I really like to, just look at it. So last month we had 116 downloads over the entirety of the month. This month we had 172 downloads. So that's really exciting because it means that more how do you say, like we're more people are downloading the episodes basically, right? Because we had 116 downloads for 1 month, and this month we had 172. That's awesome, and I'm super excited for that, because I felt like we plateaued, but actually we're not plateauing, we're just like growing slowly. So that's really exciting and encouraging to be thinking about. For our email list, I already have one idea. And so our website, the call to action on our website, the email lead magnet opt-in form basically is not updated. I haven't updated it since after we launched. So I think I could highlight our email list and our lead magnet a little bit more by creating a mock-up of the guide that we have, the workbook that we have. Like maybe I could make like a lead magnet cover for our workbook, and then feature our lead magnet on the website. But yeah, it's really cool to see that we also are kind of like slowly growing in our page views. We haven't hit 100 page views per month yet, but we're getting there. I think next month, based on like the ideas that you and I have for the podcast and promoting the podcast, I think that we could definitely get at least 100 page views for next month.
Oh yeah, absolutely. At the rate that we are going. And it seems like when it comes to the email list, from my perspective, it seems like we have the assets out there to be growing the email list, but we could be putting more effort into actually letting people know that we have an email list and letting people know that we have a really awesome lead magnet. We'll probably get more into this later, but we have been talking about starting a YouTube channel and just posting our podcast episodes on YouTube to repurpose the content and reach more eyes. And it's a perfect opportunity to make a little YouTube playlist out of the Marketing for Freelancers series that we have spent the entire month recording and building and all that stuff, and drive more traffic from YouTube to our email, to our lead magnet, and continue to grow our podcast audience and our email list.
Totally. And one thing too is, I think that we could definitely brand that our lead magnet a little bit more, like even just setting up a redirect URL, because right now we have that hard to remember ConvertKit URL, I think, for our lead magnet, but we could just do like heartcenteredservice.co/ workbook or something like that's easy to remember, easy to share. And
yeah, definitely. The easier you can make it to opt in, the more likely people are going to be to actually do it. And it just goes to show that like when you have an area that, didn't grow as fast, it's not always because, it's usually because you're not leveraging the resources that you already have to be growing that thing. So yeah, we're definitely going to be investing in that more this coming month.
Yeah, and for anyone who's listening, customizing the URL is really easy in WordPress. All you have to do is like download a 301 redirects plugin and then set up a redirect from the URL that you want, like the URL name that you want. So for example, /workbook, and then set it up to redirect to whatever page you're hosting your lead magnet form on. So for us, it's a ConvertKit pre-made form.
Love it. Super simple. I'm also glad that I have Krista here to do that part. So yeah, are you ready to dive into the qualitative data now?
Yeah, super ready.
Cool. So to break down our anchor audience some more, I'm just going to run down the geographic areas and the platforms and devices they are using. So I have anchor right here. Geographic location. So like I said, we have 15 countries now: United States, Thailand, United Kingdom, Vietnam, Malaysia, Malta, Australia, Canada, Guam apparently is its own country, France, Hong Kong, Germany, Hungary, Spain, and Belgium.
OMG, that's amazing to hear.
Yeah. In terms of platforms, most of our listeners, 51% of our listeners are on Apple Podcasts, followed by 19% on Spotify. And then it looks like Other is next at 11%, followed by Anchor at 7%, Stitcher at 5%, Castbox at 5%, and Pocket Casts at 2%. All of these platforms that I'm not familiar with, but we somehow got onto.
Cool, awesome.
Yeah. And then in terms of devices, 54% of our listeners are on an iPhone and 26% are on an Android, 6% on a Mac, 8% on the web, 3% on a Windows, 4% are using some other magical device like a tablet or a unicorn or whatever.
OMG, get me the unicorn.
That tells me that this kind of goes back to the discussion we were having about opt-ins in our email list, because we were really pushing our lead magnet over the podcast episodes, the Marketing for Freelancers series. And that is, we'll mention this again later. That was one of our top performing episodes. That series is. But if people are listening to it on an iPhone, it's likely they could be cooking dinner or in their car or out for a run. So they may be less likely to actually go and get the opt-in and join our email list because they are busy. So that's something to kind of take into mind when it comes to growing our email list.
Yeah, totally. So I think having that easy to remember URL that we promote in the middle of an episode, like, like just head to heartcenteredservice.co/this if like this interests you at all. I think that'll really help. And also having it on the show notes. I haven't really showcased it on the show notes. And yeah, so there's a lot of things I can definitely be doing differently for promoting the lead magnet.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm also hopeful that once we put some podcast episodes on YouTube, I think slightly more people, like there's going to be an increase of people who might be at their computer while they're listening. So they might just make that opt-in right away because they're sitting right there, and they're less likely to like put it off and forget about it. So that might be helpful as well. Time will tell once we actually try it.
Yeah, totally. I'm excited to try some new things.
Me too. And to continue with qualitative data, our top performing episode is still episode 1 with, I think it's like a 46 plays, which is, it towers above the rest of them. So people really want to get to know us. I mean, that it makes sense. Like it's the clear first episode to go to.
Yeah, totally. And so this is top episodes of all time. So over June and July. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point to make, because that doesn't roll over by monthly on Anchor. It just tells you what your top episodes are.
Yeah. I think I actually wait. Oh no. I think it would be a good idea if we were interested in assessing like the month-to-month growth of every episode, we could make a spreadsheet for it. But
that would be fun.
Yeah, I actually do that for my Pinterest management clients, like just plug in the number. Oh, wait, total plays. Maybe I have this. So, oh my gosh, I do. Okay, so I have a spreadsheet where I started putting our episode total plays. So at the end of June, I put in so we can actually start doing this next month.
Oh, that is epic. Okay. So the top 2 episodes that are from last month are the same this month. It's the intro episode, and then it's creating passive income with affiliate marketing. Do you remember how many plays those, or do you have how many plays each of those got at the end of June?
Yeah, so our Introducing Fran and Krista had 38 plays. So we had 8 plays that are new, 8 downloads that are new over this month. And then our Affiliate Marketing for Freelancers had 26 plays.
Okay, cool. And now they're at 46 plays and then at 30 plays. So
sweet.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll put that in here.
More data. And if we want to get real crazy, we can, do 46 minus 38 and then divide that by 46 to get the percentage of growth. I don't really feel like doing that right now, but we can. And also, I don't really know what we would do with that data, but
guys, this is why spreadsheets are great. They do the math for you. Like I can never remember which number to go first for division. Sorry, anyone who's listening that's like dying by me saying this, but like I normally have to type in the division equation like twice for numbers, just to like see like until, oh yeah, that number looks right. But what I love about spreadsheets is it does the math for you. So all you have to do is figure out the equation once, and that's all.
Cool. We can like program that equation into the spreadsheet. We're gonna nerd out about spreadsheets later. But yeah, so okay, let's talk about Pinterest. So Krista, do you have data on, or can you like look at our Pinterest posts to see what is being repinned and seen the most? Krista's the genius behind our Pinterest. So
yeah. So I really have like our Pinterest slide. Maybe we'll talk about this later in the episode, but last month was really hard for me. I feel like I signed up for too much, and I transitioned from like having a really open schedule to having a lot of commitments outside of my own stuff, like just really actually helping out with my family instead of like just being on my own. So that was really hard for me to juggle everything I signed up for, plus like my family commitments. So I'm just like, for Pinterest, the only new pin that I made last month was the one for Sheila's episode. And so that one is getting views. And she had a really good quote. Your next step doesn't have to be your forever step. I
love that quote.
Getting repins and really seen. Yeah, it's super, super good. So actually, those have been our top pins over the last 30 days. And so another one that's doing really well is our networking for freelancers pin. I actually thought this wouldn't do well on Instagram, or not Instagram, Pinterest, but that goes to, I was like, oh, this is pointless. Who's going to be interested in this? It's a picture of you, me, and our friend Jenny on the Pinterest image. And I was like, okay, like I'll just put it up here, but actually it's getting a lot of views. So we're using good keywords on this and a lot of pins as well. And I really just talk about the keywords that we're using are hashtag work from home, hashtag freelance, and just in-person networking and service-based business. So yeah, people who are browsing Pinterest are actually really interested in I guess, yeah, networking, in-person networking, which is really amazing for us to know.
That is good to know. And what's interesting is to go back to like the how many plays each episode has gotten. The interview with Sheila that we did, it is tied for third place with the first episode of the Marketing for Freelancers series. So they both got 30 plays. And then very, very close behind is the Networking for Freelancers episode, which has 26 plays. So it's possible that the traffic driven from Pinterest could have, I wish it's really hard to get this data on a podcast because they're distributed over so many platforms that you get very little data. I'd be interested to know if the traffic came from Pinterest for those particular episodes.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, that's really hard to say, but we could actually look at our Google Analytics and see like where people are coming from, because if they're coming from Pinterest directly, then it'll show on Google Analytics. So yeah, that's another thing.
Okay. I think maybe we should take a peek at Google Analytics, because I think a lot of the rest of this conversation is going to be about social media and how we kind of are like, both of us have been, I'm kind of on the Instagram game and she's on the Pinterest game. And we both are really busy people. Like we have things that we're doing outside of this podcast. So we just do the social media like when we can. And a really big focus for us this month is to really invest in a regular effort to be active on social media to drive more traffic to what we do, because we're proud of our work and we want people to see it. So I think that would be important data to get, is like look at our Google Analytics and see like, are people coming in from Pinterest? Because if they are, then stepping up our Pinterest game is going to be really key in getting more people to listen to our stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. If I go in for the month here, so I'm actually just going into acquisition. So from Google Analytics, I'm just seeing like where people are coming from under social media. So actually, people are not really in the past month coming in from Pinterest. most of our traffic comes in from Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, that's good to know.
LinkedIn and Pinterest are at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think, so should I talk about this? I want to get an iPad, guys. Jen Moreno, who is in she's an illustrator in this Facebook community. She's been talking to me about the Procreate app and how you can just like doodle on an iPad and then turn it into an image. And so I want to bring that into heart-centered service. I want us to start making more of our quotables, and they're just so shareable. I really vibe with all of these like illustrated images. So I hope you guys do too. And our future listeners, I hope you find us through that. And if you found us through a quote, send us a DM.
Oh my gosh, like from this future quote that we're going to make. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like Instagram and Facebook are places where we really want to be, which would tell me that our podcast audience is interested in we've connected with people through like conversational tactics, like putting stuff out there on Instagram and grabbing people's attention. And the Facebook traffic could have well come from our Facebook group, which we are live in that group currently. And we've been investing a lot of time doing live streams in that group and posting prompts and getting people to talk to each other. So maybe in the next month, Instagram and Facebook deserve our attention to like help get more traffic in through those platforms.
Totally. Like we can, should I talk about it now? We talked about not doing our weekly Facebook live streams. So we're going to stop doing our Monday live streams, and instead, Fran and I are going to use that time every week to kind of like co-work, and so that we are more active on social media. Because for me, one of the things I'm noticing is, well, I felt like we were kind of plateaued in growth, and so what I want to do is I want us to like focus our time into bringing more eyes to the podcast, because it's great that we're creating this amazing content and we have such incredible conversations. Like I cry, I think, every other week on the phone with you. But they're so great that I want to share them with as many people as possible. So what we're going to do instead of our weekly live streams on Facebook is, one, we're going to co-work with each other, not live, every week. And then two, we're still going to have these monthly CEO report live streams.
Mm-hmm. So basically, instead of creating more content, what we're going to do is we're going to bring more eyes to the content that we have already created. And I mean, don't worry if you're already in our audience. Our content is going to just continue to get more and more high quality. We have some really amazing episodes coming up. Most of our traffic comes from like the really strategic episodes, but we have a lot to say about like mindset and the stuff behind entrepreneurship. We're going to be recording an episode about mental health, and we're going to have regular guests on the podcast too. So we're going to be bringing people in to talk to you. So the quality of the content is going to continue to go up because we're going to be making less of it, and we're going to be investing time into building a larger audience so that we can spread, so that as many people can see this and hear it as possible.
Definitely. And the more ears who are listening and the more people who are in the community, the more people who you can talk to and learn from, and who Fran and I can learn from. So it's just, it's a really exciting goal for me.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I think both of us really just want to build this huge, amazing community of supportive, heart-centered, service-based online entrepreneurs. That sounds really niche when I say all of it, but yeah, that's our dream.
Totally. And it's totally okay to like, just be really in touch with the dream. I get so fulfilled when I see you guys sharing our podcast on social media. It just like, it really lights up my heart. And And I really love talking to people about freelancing, because I was one of those people who thought freelancing was equivalent of unemployed. Like, I didn't really see that freelancing was a real thing. And so now that I'm in it, I see how personally fulfilling it is. Yesterday, I was at a cafe and someone asked me if I liked my job, and I was like, yes, I love my job. And it was after like a kind of a difficult week when it came to like feedback, because I was just like spinning around with trying to decide like, okay, like how do I work with this like negative feedback and turn it into something that the client will love. But I still really love my job and the problem solving aspects of it. So that's like kind of like just diving into like why this community is so important to me.
Yeah. And what you said about people sharing our podcast, like, we love that. And I think there's some stuff that we're going to be doing this month on Instagram to try to encourage more engagements, because that is the number one thing that we love the most. We love talking to people in our audience. So we've been doing Freelancer Friday, but we've only been like half-heartedly doing it. Where like we are encouraging people to like introduce themselves basically. But we want to do some things to make it easier to participate. Instead of having to record a video, we're going to like, it's like one of those images that you can like screenshot and like fill out and put in your story. And we want to feature people to give some more incentive to participate.
Okay.
And then you get exposure to the freelancing community and you get to make connections. And the Work With Me Wednesday has been really fun to do and to watch. And
so much fun.
And we also want to start collecting some questions from our Instagram followers before we record an episode, so that the content we make is actually based off of the stuff that you want to know about each topic.
Yeah, I really like that we did that for, I think it was a couple weeks ago on our Facebook live stream. So if you're listening again, you can still watch our Facebook lives in the Facebook community. But we were gathering questions, I think, about attracting clients on social media. And we got some really good questions. And we covered social media in ways that we wouldn't have brainstormed on our own. So the questions you guys have really helps us like improve our conversation, because otherwise Fran and I would just be in our little bubble talking about like what we're really comfortable in. But you got the questions like really stretch us, I think. So
yeah, you guys bring up really good points. And like Krista said, like, we wouldn't otherwise think to address them unless we asked you. So we're going to do more of that. We want to keep asking you what you want to hear, keep talking to you. I think that's the main thing behind the social media too. Like, we want to get more people in our audience, obviously, because we care about this project and we want as many people to see it as possible. But we also want it to be a better and better experience for the people who are already in our audience. Because we love you guys too. We love everybody.
Yes, oh, totally. So I guess like let's dive into these questions. And so some of these questions we got from Krista Dixon of Blog Beautifully. I was just on her Instagram stories yesterday and saw she was posting about her monthly CEO report, and she posted some really thought-provoking questions I thought we could also discuss for our project. So yeah, Fran, what do you think was successful this month?
I think, because at the beginning of this month, we talked about how we wanted to be more active on Instagram, and we're getting there. I think we still have more to go in terms of like really and like being regularly active and having a cadence on Instagram. But we have been doing Work With Me Wednesdays regularly. We trade off. We grew the Instagram account by like, what was it, like 20% or something. I can't pull up the number now because I'm scrolling. But yeah, so we're making strides there, and I'm excited for more progress. But I'm also grateful for the progress that we've already made. Yes. How about you, Krista?
Oh yeah. So I have loved our hashtag Work With Me Wednesdays. They're super fun to keep up with. I like how you started yours with a question, an interactive question. That's really awesome. For me, I think that is one of the most successful things for this month. And another successful thing, I think, has just been the quality of our content. For example, our episode on social media, I think, was lit. Our interview with Sheila was amazing, and like really relevant, because I think a lot of people, as they're starting their freelance paths and trying to figure out their niche and where they belong, feel stuck. It's a really normal thing. And sometimes it's scary to pivot. Sometimes people around you aren't as encouraging of your pivot. So that interview with Sheila, I think, is just like a keystone interview that we can just promote for ages, basically, because it'll always be relevant.
Yeah, I love that episode, and I agree with you. We've made some amazing content this month. The work with the Marketing for Freelancers series was a huge success in my opinion. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to all of the content we're going to create in the future. That's really the main thing. Like, I just love the stuff that we do, and I love doing it. It's fun getting on the phone and recording these episodes. So
it's so much fun. I really look forward to it every week. So if anyone's thinking about starting a podcast, you should. It's so much fun. And it's fun starting it with your biz bestie. Like, OMG. It's I really like the conversational aspect of it. And I think that I say this a lot. I don't know if I say it a lot on the podcast, but we definitely complement each other so well. I see it all the time, and it makes for the perfect partnership.
We do. We're such a dream team. And as somebody, I used to have a podcast with just me. And after, I was planning on doing both podcasts when we first launched Heart Centered Service, but I ended up dropping the other podcast. And the real reason behind it was that once I started this podcast with Krista, my other podcast got less fun because I wasn't able to talk to somebody. I was just talking to myself. I really enjoyed making my podcast for all the time that I did, but it's so much more fun to do it with another person, like to actually have a conversation with a human.
Yeah, collaborating is really fun. And there are times where it's really good that we have each other to bounce ideas off of. For example, our last CEO report, our first CEO report, June 2019, I sent you a message after we posted it, and I was like, oh, this audio is kind of awful. Should we still keep this up? And you were like, yes, like, let's do it. And it got a lot of downloads. And so it means that people are interested in this type of content. And yeah, I'm glad that I have you to like talk sense into me or be that other perspective.
That's what partners are for.
Oh, yeah.
So Krista, what did you struggle with this month?
What did I not struggle with this month? So like I said earlier, this month I just had a lot more responsibilities than just like going day to day on my own. So I fell behind on show notes. I didn't really make any graphics except for Sheila's episode, and I just like everything kept piling up. But I think that struggle was necessary because it shows me that maybe like my weekly isn't sustainable. And it helps me, I guess, bring up to you, like, maybe we should not be putting our time into the weekly live stream. Maybe we should like do that co-working instead. And so that was my struggle this month, was just like putting in the time for the extra stuff, like writing show notes and making graphics. How about you, Fran?
Oh, I think that's the main thing for both of us, is that we have to be setting aside time specifically for this project. For me, I think the main thing is like, I went into July being like, I'm going to kill it with Instagram. And like I said, we did do well on Instagram, but I don't think I posted in the feed once. And that's my job, is to post in the feed. And I think a lot of the times I was like, oh, like Krista and I are not in the same place, so we can't like go out and like take a picture together. I need Krista to create the graphics. So like, but Krista's holding a pineapple right now.
We took a picture together today.
We did. So see, these were stories that I was telling myself, because Krista and I took a picture together this morning, and we were thousands of miles apart. We did it over Zoom. There was a pineapple involved. It's going to be on the Instagram page. And also, I can be looking at our mood board and pulling stock photos that represent our brand, and then just posting that. I don't have to wait for Krista to make every single graphic. So I think the main struggle in what I learned from it is that I need to take a little bit more initiative, because Krista did, like, not saying like that's bad. Krista did fall a little behind in some of the podcast stuff this month, which is not a big deal at all. Like, this is a fun project and I really didn't care. But I was kind of sitting around and twiddling my thumbs and waiting for graphics when I could have just been getting them myself. So
I think this is a good thing to add to our like to-do list, that never-ending to-do list, is we could create a folder for stock images and just like fill that folder with stock images or just images. We have a folder of the like images that we've taken together, I think. But yeah, just like, so then when we have time, we can add to the folder, basically.
Yeah, we're going to be streamlining that better. And on our weekly co-working dates that we're now going to have, I'm going to be working on the Instagram page.
Oh,
so awesome. Stuff on there.
That's so exciting. Yeah. Okay. So, this is going to be a really good segue into what goals do you have for the next month?
So my goals are mostly for Instagram. I want us to have a regular cadence on Instagram. I'm a big fan of scheduling posts and like making plans and like just knowing what's going to happen, so that, yeah, I like planning ahead with social media, but that rarely happens. So with my own social media and with our social media, so my goal is to just have a really solid like social media plan and be posting regularly and showing up on the page regularly.
Ooh, I love that. And I'm glad that I have you to have that as a goal, because cadence on Instagram is just never been on my radar. Unless it's like posting quarterly on Instagram. I think I do that.
I think we're set up better because we have regular content that we publish. So like there's always something we can post about. So yeah.
Totally. For example, when we post about our July 2019 CEO report, we can use the picture we took today with the pineapple on Zoom.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah. So for me, the goal that I have the next month is to like streamline a little bit better. I'm really excited to have our co-working days, because I'm going to use those co-working days to post our episode on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. So just like quick posts, like just like, hey guys, we have a new episode out. But I think that just like those show up on people's feeds, and we have people following us on those accounts who don't hear from us. I don't know if you get the notification. It's like, oh, yeah, your blah, blah, blah followers haven't heard from you in a while.
All the time.
Yeah. So I'll use Mondays for that. And then also to like, hopefully get ahead in creating quotation images. I am going to buy that iPad like in the next couple of days, because I want to make those like hand-drawn or handwritten picture graphics. So yeah.
I'm so excited for that.
Yes, me too.
It's gonna be lit.
Yes, it's gonna be so lit. So Fran, what are you proud of this month?
I'm proud with the raw quality that our content has taken. I think we've really gotten to the point where like we create really nice outlines for our episodes, but the conversations really take a life of their own. And I think it's gotten very authentic and just really, really cool. I'm really proud of the content that we've been able to make this month.
I am super proud of the content we've been able to make this month. I really enjoyed the conversations and the types of things that we talk about. We really bring, I think, a human aspect of it and a different and unique perspective. And I think the fact that we know each other so well too, we know what to ask and bring up that maybe like the other person doesn't. And yeah, just like our podcast is lit.
It really is. And not only are we like logistically a dream team, like our strengths complement our strengths and areas of opportunity complement each other so well. we just have the best conversations too. I think we were talking about this. You guys know I'm into astrology. Krista's a Sagittarius and I'm an Aquarius. So we're very intellectually compatible with each other.
Yes. And it makes so much sense, right? Like we can just talk for ages about this. That's why we had the podcast and a live stream, because like, we could just go on forever. This live stream has been 45 minutes.
Yeah. Well, and it shows that we're growing too, because I think the last live stream for the CEO report was really cool, but it was like, I think it was like 20 or 30 minutes. This is a solid 45 minutes now. So we're getting more and more, like getting more things to talk about. We're just, we're an endless well of conversation, which is great. I'm excited about that.
Endless. And someone did bring up to me the other day that they like when we come up with more episodes on the episode during an episode. So it's good that we're an endless well. It's some people are being receptive to it.
I'm glad they like that, because that will probably never stop happening.
Yeah, no kidding. So Fran, let's round this up a little bit. Not that I don't enjoy talking to you, just that let's try to keep this under an hour. So what are the main takeaways that you want to bring into August for the podcast?
Main takeaways, even though we can create an obscene amount of content with a live stream and a podcast episode every week, maybe we should put some of that time and energy into bringing more eyes to the content that we are already creating. And I should take more initiative in the social media game, even though I am not a designer and I don't make the graphics.
Yeah, I mean, so hopefully diverting our time is going to result in more graphics for you to use. And also, I think I really am super proud of what we create. And so I am excited to see the short-term results at the end of August of what it's like for us to spend an hour or so intentionally promoting the episode once it's released. So
I'm excited for it too. We're getting to the point where we actually have like a pretty solid well of content. I'm not even sure how many episodes we have out by now. We have 11 episodes completely produced. So 9 of them have been released. So we're getting there. Like we've got a lot of content, and we're getting to the point where we can divert eyes back to older content as well as newer content.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Like set up a scheduler or something to post older content, or for sure. So you guys, if you've listened to this and you enjoyed it and you're getting something from this, please share it with your friends. We would really appreciate it. Like we said, this project is really fulfilling for us, and just being in front of more ears helps us learn more. And we just hope that you enjoy.
We really hope that this is helpful and inspiring and educational for you, and we always want to hear from you, as we say all the time. If you're listening to this on the podcast, we do have a Facebook group, and this is a live stream from our Facebook group. You can go to heartcenteredservice.co/community if you want to join it and hang out with us. And so this is the bonus episode, so I don't know what day it's going to be out, but we'll see you when we post the next episode.
Yeah, for sure. See you next week.
Bye.
Aloha.